Hi. I don't know how much this you guys can hear, but it's pretty funny. So, it's toothpaste time for the kids. Let's brush your teeth. It's a fight every night, so I figured, I'm going to do this video while the fight's occurring. Because it's kind of funny to hear going on in the background while I'm talking hockey with you people. Wearing my Hartford Whalers, rocking the blue Whalers, because that's what you do. And my Vancouver Millionaires hat, because VHW means nothing. Tonight's action was big. And again, this is why, and I've said this for a while now, for teams that are behind, for a team that is trying to catch people, there's a lot of 3-goal games or 3-point games that happen. Montreal beats the Rangers, shootout. Toronto beats Winnipeg, overtime. Calgary beats Nashville, overtime. I think there was more than that. No, there wasn't. Chicago beat Minnesota. I believe I called that one. I said Chicago is not going to let Minnesota get that far ahead of them. So Montreal with a win. They got out a win in New York. That's huge because Ottawa won without Mark Stone. I said it's a concussion. Doesn't matter if he's cleared to play. It's a concussion. Concussions don't follow the rules. They're not consistent. And Stone is a warrior. If he was good to play tonight, he would have played. So there were a lot of comments on the video yesterday where people were like, Stone's fine. He's fine. I don't think he is. So, again, these hits to the head have to be addressed. And there was a hit to the head tonight as well. And again, it's a 2-minute penalty. So, if it's not 5 minutes in a game, it shouldn't be suspendable. If it's suspendable, you should be eligible to have 5 in a game. I know the rules. You guys can recite the rules all you want. It's not right. Being a rule doesn't make it right. That's going to get changed this summer. I'd be very surprised if it doesn't get changed. So Ottawa guts out a win. Huge win. Now it's New Jersey. New Jersey can't score to save their lives. And with the win that Toronto got tonight, they bounced past Florida into third place. The Islanders scored themselves a win tonight as well. And that win over Detroit was huge for them and pretty much a killer for Detroit. Tampa beats Edmonton. Tampa had to win that game. Tampa pulls themselves now within 4 points of the playoffs. So again, when the deadline rolls around on Tuesday, or Wednesday, and I don't have that day booked off at work. I thought about it. I may try tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to get it or not. Probably not. It's probably too late for me to be able to get it. But I'm kind of torn on it anyways because I don't think that much is going to happen. I honestly don't. I think it's going to be kind of a game. Like I don't see a lot happening in that game. Or in that game on that day. In terms of deadlines, I don't think it's going to be that big. Calgary fans were asking about what I think about Stone and Burkowski being added. Stone is a big addition. He is, and it's understated, and he wasn't having a very good year in Arizona. Understandable that people don't make a big deal of it, but he is a very good defenseman, and could definitely turn Calgary's fortunes around. Bartkowski, I thought he got a lot more flack from Canucks fans last year than he deserved. I know his advanced stats are a nightmare, but he's not a bad defenseman. He's a good depth option. I thought he was better in Vancouver last year than he was in Boston before that, so take it for what it's worth. The Rangers got a loser point tonight because I made a statement in the video I made about adjusted stats that they don't have enough loser points, so the Rangers heard me and decided to pick one up. Good for them. They pulled within 1 point of Columbus for that coveted third spot, but I still think, even though they lost to Montreal tonight, I still think that would be a matchup the Rangers would really enjoy in the first round. Not to mention, if you get past Montreal, your second round matchup would be the winner of Ottawa and Florida at this point. Or Ottawa and Toronto, I guess. Toronto's past them. You'd rather play Ottawa or Toronto than play Pittsburgh. Much rather. And they'd have to play Pittsburgh in the first round if they were in third place right now, and then play Washington in the next round. Nobody wants that. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Now, in the West, with that win tonight, Chicago pulls within 5 points of Minnesota. So Minnesota loses the chance to pull 9 points ahead. But they're still likely to win that division. I can't see Chicago making up a 5-point deficit in 20 games. It is Chicago. Anything is possible, but I can't see it. The one thing I would say for Minnesota fans, and there's been a lot of Wild fans on my page lately, or on my channel, is I've seen a lot of teams over the years that have really battled all year to win every single regular season game they can and just gutted it out every single time. And then in the playoffs have nothing left. And they just peter out. In 2012, the last time the Canucks won the President's Trophy, that was the year they lost in 5 to the Kings. And it wasn't even close. And I remember the Kings won the President's Trophy, and I was actually kind of upset that year because I didn't think they were good enough to be #1 overall. I thought there were some lucky bounces. I thought compared to the 2011 President's Trophy, they weren't as good, and it showed. And the President's Trophy is fine and great, but I've seen Boston win it and blow it. I've seen Washington win and blow it. I've seen, I believe Dallas blew it once when they were President's Trophy winners. It is overrated. Your key is to be playing the best hockey you can going into the playoffs. Doesn't necessarily mean you win every night. So tonight Minnesota takes a loss. That's not a big deal. That really isn't. That's not a big deal. As I said, the huge win for Tampa tonight. Philly's kind of in no man's land, but we'll get into who may actually be sellers at the deadline. That's going to be a quick video after this one. The Kings right now, last I saw, were leading Colorado 2-1. I could just turn and look at the game. Of course, I have it on. Oh, Colorado hit the post. Yeah, it's still 2-1 for the Kings. So if the Kings can hold on to that, the Kings would hit 62 points, and they'd bounce past Winnipeg in the standings. And they'd still have 4 games in hand on Winnipeg. So, and another team I've had a lot of fans of on my channel lately is Jets fans, and I get the enthusiasm, I respect the enthusiasm, but it is a really tough sled when you've got so many teams that have played so many fewer games than you have, and they're playing 3-point games. Like tonight, the win by Calgary over Nashville would have been great if it was in regulation. The fact it was in overtime means Nashville gets a point and Calgary gets 2. So Winnipeg stays 3 points behind Nashville and falls 2 points behind Calgary. And then after tonight, they're tied in points with Winnipeg or with LA, but LA has more regulation and overtime wins and has played 4 less games. This is why I say it is a very difficult road for Winnipeg from here, because they're not in control of their destiny. And that is a terrible feeling. When you can win a bunch of games and still watch yourself lose because those teams have games in hand. And as long as they win them, and there was some baffling things that happened tonight. The Jets and the Leafs, I know it was a fun game to watch, but it was sloppy as hell. If the Leafs play that kind of hockey against a really defensively sound team, they will get slaughtered every time. You cannot make that many bad passes in one game. Anderson's going to take a lot of flack for the goals he allowed per shots on net. Anderson was bad on, I think, I would give 1 of the 4 goals I would say Winnipeg got, I thought was kind of civvy. But in general, it was just poor defense. Really, really poor defense. That when Winnipeg got a shot, it was a prime shot. It was not just some from the boards bad angle. It was a right in front of the net prime shot. Usually cross crease, bang, shot on net and in. and traffic in front. You can't blame Anderson on those. That's the nature of the beast. He is now playing behind the same issue that Reimer had, the same issue that Bernier had, and many goalies before that. The Leafs defense is sloppy. I was actually kind of surprised they won in overtime when they went with Hunwick as the defenseman to start overtime. I'm like, oh, they want to lose then. Hunwick, but they did all right, and then they had Pollock out, and then they did all right with that. I'm like, okay, this is getting kind of weird. But a big game for Matthews, and in the ever-evolving Calder Trophy race, I think Lane's the head guy right now. I do. I think Lane is flashier pick, and I think Lane, if the voting was right now, would win Calder. I do. I think just his shot alone, I think, will inspire people to vote for him, whether it's right or wrong. And I honestly still think the best rookie this year has been Austin Matthews. I know Marner's scoring has been better per game than Matthews, but I'm telling you, in the trenches, I'd rather have Matthews. Matthews owned that penalty he got late in the game, and then in overtime, he was up and ready to get back into the play 15 seconds before his penalty was over. He was mad at himself, and that's what you need. That's what you need. A lot of learning experiences for a lot of young players, and great to see Johnny Gaudreau with 4 assists tonight for Calgary, because they need Gaudreau going strong. He has to. And for Nashville, Forsberg with a hat trick. Some higher scoring games tonight, but in general, scoring is still where I thought it was going to go after the All-Star game, and it's been kind of slow. And I'll get into that somewhat in my next video tonight. But fun games tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed watching the game. I hope you had a chance to watch Winnipeg and Toronto, because that was truly a fun, sloppy game to watch. Again, and they say it's a great game to watch. It'll give coaches gray hairs and make them lose it. And I could see it. If I had a dime for every time I said, where the hell are you passing that puck to? And it was both teams were doing it. Again, if Toronto was playing against a defensively sound team, they're slaughtered. It's about 6-1 tonight. But Winnipeg is not very good defensively either. And one thing is, when you're facing Hellebuck, if you're down, you're probably going to be able to get that goal. Winnipeg has not lost that air that their goaltending can't stop anything. And it's one of those things that when you have that air about you, and teams know they could just tee off and score from pretty much anywhere on the ice, it makes for some really long nights. And if you make the playoffs, you don't last in them. So, be interesting to see what happens. Calgary with the win, fine. They're still in a playoff spot, but they really got to get their goaltending straight. Elliott made some game savers towards the end of the game, but he still allowed 5. So Calgary's got to get it straight. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're just browsing your way around. And just let me know what you guys think of tonight's action. I think it was fun. Again, a lot of 3-point games take place this time of year, and it makes it hard for teams to jump up if they're below everybody else. Just the nature of the beast. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you all again soon.